I know you're not going to feel comfortable till you've tried it a few times, but trust me, if you follow these steps and you're careful, you'll find that sensor cleaning is a breeze. I'm going to go through the steps one more time. I'm not going to actually do the cleaning process, but I'm going to verbally take you one by one through the steps that I do to clean my camera and sensor, just to kind of get that seated in your mind. The first step is I take my shaving brush or the DeWitt brush and I wipe down my camera. I brush all the crevices. I get any of the dust off of the camera so that I don't have any chance of getting additional dust in the chamber box. The next step is I'll take the microfiber cleaning cloth and some lens cleaner. I'll clean the front and rear elements of my lens. I'll then also clean the LCD panel on my camera, keeping everything shiny and pristine. Next, I'll remove the lens, and taking a Q-tip and some more lens cleaner, I'll clean the rear element or the rear mount on the lens, as well as the mount on the body, removing any of that black residue that occurs from the friction of the two pieces of metal rubbing together. The next step is I want to inspect the mirror box for what type of debris there may be. I'll pull out the gooseneck flashlight and just shine that down into the bottom of the mirror box, looking for any of those little metal particles that have shaved off from the lens. If I see those, I'll take a Q-tip and roll it along the bottom of the mirror box a couple times, pulling those metal shavings and other lens and other dust away from that bottom of the mirror box. The next step is I'll take the visible dust sensor loop and I'll look at the rest of the mirror box. I'm not even looking at the sensor yet. I take that and I view, can I see any little bits of dust adhering to that fabric on the edges of the mirror box? If I do, I'll take the chamber clean and a chamber clean swab and I'll simply just remove any of that other debris and dust that may be adhering to the edges of the chamber. At this point, I'm then ready to move on to the sensor. The first step is to inspect it. So once again, I'll take the visible dust sensor loop, I'll put my camera in the cleaning mode, either using a very freshly charged battery or an AC adapter to ensure that the camera stays on during the whole process. I'll take a look at the sensor, and if I see any dust, the first step I'll take is if I have a camera with a built-in sensor cleaner, I'll activate that and see if it can remove the dust. If that doesn't work, I'll resort to the Giotto rocket blower, blowing the dust from the sensor, holding the camera in a vertical position. Then I'll inspect the sensor one more time using the visible dust sensor loop. If I find that there's still some dust or debris on that sensor, it's time to resort to what's called the dry cleaning method. And that's where the Arctic Butterfly or any of the other visible dust brushes come into play. I'll spin the Arctic Butterfly, removing any extraneous dust that may be stuck in the bristles and creating that charge so that when I swipe it across the sensor, it's pulling the dust away. Then I'll take and inspect the sensor one more time. The reason I inspect the sensor in between each use is at any time when I feel that my sensor's clean, I'll stop. I won't go through the entire process unless necessary. But if I find that there's still some dust residing on that sensor or some other kind of debris, I'll then resort to the wet method. That's where I pull out the sensor swabs and the sensor clean. I'll drop a couple of drops onto the swab, making sure that it's evenly coated all the way from edge to edge. I'll activate the cleaning mode in the camera, the mirror up for cleaning mode, and then I'll take that swab starting at the left side and move it across, and then turn it over and move from the right to the left. One swipe each. I'll then inspect the sensor one more time. If I've got oil-based residue that's stuck on that sensor, I may need to resort to smear away. Using a clean swab, I'll repeat the process I did before, a couple drops on the swab, a left to right motion within a right to left motion. I want to make sure that I don't put that swab or the brush, for that matter, deep into any of those edges where the lubricant resides. I don't want to add extra debris to the sensor. Once I've done the smear away, oftentimes I will find streaking because the way it removes the oily residue, it just tends to leave streaking. And if that's the case, no big deal. I'll pull out one extra swab. I'll go back to the sensor clean, Put a couple drops of cleaner on the swab and repeat that step one more time. Each step of the way, I will inspect my sensor with the loupe, making sure that I'm removing everything that I don't want there. Once I'm finished, I'm good to go. I'm ready to get back out there to shoot. As you see, it's a very easy process. It's not hard and it's not scary. And I think once you try it, you'll find that it's just another process in the life of a digital photographer. Before we go, I do want to mention another product, and that's called the Sensor Brush Wash. What it is it's a little tablet that you drop in 2 cups of distilled water, and then you take and put the sensor brush in there and spin it around a little bit. Swirl it, get it clean, push it against the edges of the glass that it's in, then remove that, rinse it in clean water, and spin it just to remove any excess water and let it dry. Once it's dried, after the tips of the brush the bristles of the brush will remain kind of stuck together. A simple spin and it's good to go again. There are other products to choose from, and you can make your own decision as to which product works best for you. But for you NAP members, you get free shipping from B&H, and they sell all of the visible dust products, so that alone is a reason to maybe at least check them out. Whichever product you decide to go with, be sure that you get an extensive cleaning kit for your sensor and do it yourself. As you see, it's an easy process to follow, and you can have a clean camera for every shoot. See you out in the field.